Hey friends, have you been thinking about having weight loss surgery? This video is going to tell you all about my experience with vertical sleeve gastrectomy, also known as VSG or gastric sleeve. If you're interested in learning more about my pre and post-op experiences that I've had so far, stay tuned. So first off, let's talk about why I decided to do the vertical sleeve gastrectomy in the first place. My adult life has been spent mostly dieting in one form or another, whether it was Optavia or Weight Watchers or Herbalife or Slim Fast or the countless other things I've tried over the years. Those things were never successful for a long term for me. So I was looking for something that would allow me to have more energy, live a longer life, and just be healthier in general and lose quite a bit of weight. So I felt like the Lord was telling me this was the best process to go through. In fact, I had been praying hard about exactly whether or not I should do this. I had been thinking about it for months. And then one night at church, our music minister made the comment that we needed to get rid of things that were not pleasing to God and we needed to cut away the flesh. And he used that exact phrase. And that was my confirmation from God that yes, this is what I needed to do. I needed to literally cut away the part that was keeping me from being able to serve him better and from living my life to the fullest. So part of this journey has been just a spiritual journey to have a better temple for the Lord to live in and to be able to do more for his kingdom through the special needs ministry I do at church, and also to be able to eventually go on mission trips and just be able to do more with my family and with my daughter in general. So I came to this conclusion of the gastric sleeve surgery. So before I go into this, I'm going to have a quick disclaimer that everybody's experience is different, obviously, because everybody's body is different and unique. But this particular surgeon that I go to, he uses a very specific protocol that he uses with everyone so that they can have the best results. And he's been doing this for a long time. And so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my experience through his process. So pre-surgery, I had a 2-week pre-op diet, and that is dependent upon how much you weigh, whether you have 1, 2, or 3 weeks of a pre-op diet. The purpose of that diet is very specific. It's to shrink the organs, especially like the pancreas, to make room for the robotic arms to get in and do the laparoscopic surgery. The 2-week pre-op diet is a mostly liquid diet. I had 2 bars a day, and then I had 5 other items that consisted of either a shake, a soup, or a pudding, which is all considered liquid. So surgery itself was fine. It was just getting used to being able to twist and turn again. That was kind of difficult because, you know, they fill up this entire abdominal cavity with air, and then they literally cut your stomach out. And so it was hard to like get up out of bed. At the hospital, I spent one night, but coming home, I was not able to sleep in the bed for at least a month, if not a month and a half. It was not easy to do that because of the I'm a tosser and turner, and that just didn't happen. So that itself was fine. One thing I was not exactly prepared for was the amount of pain I would have in my shoulders and in my neck. And that was because the air that gets trapped inside there kind of tends to migrate to that area. I had to use a Tylenol and a heating pad in order to kind of minimize the pain that I was having there. That only lasted for a few days after surgery, probably 3 or 4, and then that was fine too. So pros and cons, let's talk about it. Pro, now that I'm 2 months out, I have a lot more energy to do things. I'm not taking naps every day like I typically would during the summertime, and I can go and do things for longer periods of time than I have been, so that's great. I'm only down a little over 35 pounds right now. That's still a pro in 2 months, but the con kind of is that I didn't know ahead of time that there would be like this 1 month slump of no change on the scale. And part of that, I was told, was because your metabolism is trying to figure out like, what did you just do to my body? And you kind of, it takes a while to kind of like regulate again. And so apparently that's a very common thing in our Facebook thread for the group that we have with the doctor that we used. That seems to be a 4 to 6 week process along about week 3 post-op. It starts and everybody just has a little slump. So another pro would be the fact that you're gonna lose weight, and you're gonna lose a lot of weight. So most people that have been through this surgery have lost 100 pounds in the first year and have lost pretty much everything they're going to lose by the end of year 3. Of course, it all depends on how closely you follow protocol and whether or not you do what your nutritionist tells you to do. That's another pro in my opinion. This particular surgeon that I've used has a nutritionist plan built into it. We have certain appointments that we have to go and see her. And so it's been good to have someone tell me step by step exactly what I need to do and what I don't need to do. That part does take a long time. I was not expecting to be 2 months out and just now being almost back to a normal diet. It takes time though for your body to heal, so that kind of makes sense. I'm not hungry all the time. That was the main reason why I chose to do this drastic form of weight loss, because I didn't want to feel like I was starving myself all the time. I wanted to live a normal life and enjoy being able to go out with my friends and not feel like I was depriving myself because I was on a diet. I didn't want to be on a diet for my entire life. I wanted to have a lifestyle change, and this kind of forced that to happen. Of course, it's going to cost you some money. Now, fortunately, my husband got a new job this past year, and he has fantastic insurance, and so we are still waiting for those bills to come in, but it's going to cost. And so, in my opinion, it's worth the price. It's worth the price because I'm going to have the results that I've been wanting to have my entire life, and I don't feel like I'm being deprived. I don't feel like I'm having to constantly be on a diet. Per se. So, and I'm satisfied with just a few bites of something, or, I know that if I eat too much, I am going to vomit, and I despise vomiting. So I'm trying everything I can do not to vomit. It takes a while for you to be up and doing things again. I was not able to been able to touch the floor for a good 6 weeks. So being able to lift and pull and push, you're on a restriction for that. Obviously, you've had your midsection cut open, so internally at least. Another con is the scars are not so pretty. They're not in a line or anything. I thought I was just going to have like 3, but I've got 6 different spots all around. And, my first thoughts were like, this is a hack job. What is this? But the more I looked at pictures from other people, they're in the exact same location. So I'm assuming that those specific spots are where the different arms of the laparoscopic machine had to get in to be able to get to the different points of entry for what all he had to do with those pieces. So it's not a big deal. I don't show people my stomach anyway, so I'm not really worried about what it looks like to other people. It's not that pleasant to me. But eventually it'll look better as far as the scars healing better too. So now that I'm post-op 2 months, let's talk a little bit about the process of what food was like over the past 2 months. So the first 2 weeks after surgery is all liquid diet. The biggest complication for people with weight loss surgery is, especially this kind, is dehydration. So I had a timer set where I had to drink so many ounces at a time every 30 minutes, and then that moved to every hour. And so I was very diligent with that because I was determined not to have to go back to the hospital because it's an hour away, and I did not want to become dehydrated. I didn't want to drink too much. So I definitely made sure to use my measuring cups because I didn't want to be vomiting again, because that's something I'm not a fan of. Okay, so we did 2 weeks of liquid diet. The first week was all clear liquids, which is not all clear, just so you know. That's a thing I learned. As long as you can see your hand through it and it's not cloudy, it's considered a clear liquid, whether it's actually clear or not. And then week 2 was full liquids. Okay, so after the 2-week liquid diet, I began a process of adding in protein over the next 3 to 8 weeks. It was a very slow process of 1 week at a time, adding another ounce or adding different types. We started with very soft proteins like scrambled eggs, peanut butter, cheese, and then moved on to things that were a little bit firmer, that was like tuna and fish and things like that. And then after that, there was, of course, as I'm gaining ounces as well, then I added in turkey and chicken and things like that. Most recently, I'm on week 9 now, but I just started adding in vegetables, fruits, and starches. Of course, this is all very detailed and laid out for me with specific instructions of what kinds of foods I can eat at what times. I'm not fully integrated back into a diet yet. I still have restrictions on the types of fruits and vegetables and starches that I can have, but by the end of month 3, so week 12, I will have fully gone through the process and will be able to eat all the things that I'm supposed to eat going forward for the rest of my life. So one thing also, it's not really a con to me. Some people would probably think it was a con, but you will have to take bariatric vitamins for the rest of your life, just because part of your stomach has been removed and there are parts of your stomach that absorb different vitamins and nutrition from the food that you eat. So it's important to have calcium citrate to help make sure that your hair and nails and your teeth are held tightly in place and that they continue to grow and all that kind of stuff. So you will have things like that you'll have to do. I don't mind that because I'm used to taking vitamins and like an allergy medicine every morning, so that's not difficult for me to add that in. But for other people, that might be a nuisance. But overall, I'm very pleased with the process and I'm happy with the results that I'm seeing, even though for a while there I was very defeated. When the scale didn't move and I was doing everything they told me to do and I knew I had paid this money or was going to be paying this money, I was very frustrated and it took me to a dark place for a little while. But now I am seeing the scale change again, and of course it's not all about the scale, so I definitely make sure to take my measurements every month and to take before and after pictures every month so I can see how my body's changing. My clothes are fitting better. It's very obvious to my family and my friends, and so my goal is that I continue to do well with this and I continue to lose and be able to be healthier and have a longer life as a result. So those are my experiences so far with gastric sleeve surgery. Of course, gastric sleeve is just one of several kinds of bariatric surgery or weight loss surgery that are available. If you have any questions about my experience or have anything that I didn't mention that you'd like to ask about, please tell me in the comments below and I'd be happy to answer those for you. But with that, we'll see you next time as we explore education, ministry, and more.